All right, everybody. Hey, it's Kelly Williams with the Kelly Williams Show and your home TV, and we are live right here, Radio Row in New Orleans,
New Orleans.
Louisiana, for Super Bowl week. And I'm really excited because I've got Brian Mitchell. He is a former running back for the Redskins, Eagles, and Giants.
Yep.
I'm exhausted just looking at your stuff. That's exhausting. So you were in the Pro Bowl. Well, first of all, you were drafted in 1990
Yep.
by the Redskins. You were in the Super Bowl that y'all won.
Yes.
That's craziness.
Right there, yeah.
In 91. Oh, look at that. Let me see that. That's pretty stuff right there.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. And then you were in the Pro Bowl in 1995.
Yeah.
What team were you in the Pro Bowl with?
I was with Washington still.
Okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice. Good long career to
10
people who
years there.
drafted you.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's
I like
it.
that. Okay, so Brian, first of all, you were in the you're in the Ring of Honor for the Redskins.
Mhm.
I want to ask you, do you remember the day that happened and
Oh,
how
yeah.
you felt?
Yeah. The day it happened when they actually did the ceremony, my good friend Doc Walker, he was the guy who they inducted me into it. And
Yeah.
I couldn't keep my eyes dry that day. So I just kept telling my wife, my eyes keep sweating. And she said, "You crying." Because, it's like we go through life and we do stuff and you don't know how many people you impressed or things like that. But that was something that every time I go or when my people come to the game that didn't see me play, they look up and
Yeah.
they see my names and they realize, because I hear people like, "Oh, you really were good." I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, look at
So
that.
when they see something, but it's just
Yeah.
something that made me feel good about the stuff I was taught. I was taught to work my butt off and just go out there and never worry about, do it because you want to have a success, not for the end result.
Yeah.
You want to do it for whatever you need to do, and I did that and I guess I did well enough.
No, absolutely. And you just made a really good point, because I think when people get caught up on doing things in life, worrying about how everybody's going to think about them and
Mhm.
what their
Yeah.
what their legacy is going to be, what or how many people are going to remember me, instead of focusing
Yeah.
on doing just your day to day and doing your best you can every day, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's when it's this really great feeling to realize you're getting honored.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
and
for
I
that.
think for me, I'll be totally honest with you. I had done so much in Washington and I never knew it because I never
Yeah.
cared about what happened. I cared about what can happen.
Yeah.
And when I got to Philly, they were like, "Man, you know that you're number one in this and number." I'm like,
What?
"No," because
Wow.
Washington never told me about it. I never asked.
Yeah.
But Philly, they knew it and they would tell me. And then I got to a point where every time I touched the ball and ran a yard, I was setting another record.
No.
But I think I was never satisfied with what I had done. Charlie Cassidy was the GM in Washington, and he started doing he was teaching this class for Georgetown, and he said, "I would like you to come talk to my class." He said, "Because we come up with this question where you played better after you signed a contract." He said, "Why is that?"
Wow.
I said, "Because I never cared about what I had already secured. I cared about what I can get next time.
Wow.
So if you just gave me $8 million to play football,
Yeah.
I feel I can get 10, 12 next time."
Yeah.
And that's the way I've always thought. And I think that kept me looking forward. Like my mindset is, I call it the rearview mirror effect.
Yeah.
You got a whole windshield.
Yeah.
Why does everybody base their life off of that little bitty rearview mirror? They're worrying about what's behind them and not what's ahead of them. And if you keep worrying about what's ahead, that's how you accomplish stuff.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. So when you were little, did you always dream, or did you feel like you really wanted to play in the NFL? Was that something you always wanted
that was
to
a dream.
do?
That was a dream. And
Yeah.
I made the mistake of telling my dad at 6 years old, military father, that I wanted to be a football player. And like the next day or two, he woke me up 6, 7 in the morning and had me go run the levee. And as I got older, then I could now run that mile to my grandmother's house and run back.
Wow.
And I said, "Dad, why I got to keep doing it?" He said, "You said you want to be an NFL player." So, but it was that work ethic was instilled in me based off of how he took what I said,
Yeah.
and he made me go out there and live up to it.
And that's awesome that he did that, because a lot of parents go, you know what, we'll see. Okay, well, that's great to dream, but
Yep.
you've got time to work on that. He said, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
And see, when I talk about coaches, like I talk about Joe Gibbs and Andy
Yeah.
Reid and how they believed in people and how they support you, that's what my dad did with me. So when I see people doing that, I go, okay, they get it,
Yeah.
like, and then every kid doesn't do all the right things, but I watch him still support everybody in the family. Like
Absolutely.
if you told him what you wanted to do, he was gonna make sure you had the opportunity to do it.
I
But
love
if
that.
you don't want to do it, don't tell him you want to do it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Exactly. And one of my questions for you, because you played on 3 teams
Mhm.
and you had 3 different head coaches, and a lot
More
of
than
people, and a lot of people don't have that.
Mhm.
They'll either maybe retire with one team, or they won't have a long career enough to
Mhm.
be traded, or they'll get cut, or whatever it is. What do you think makes a great head coach? What differences did you see? And you don't have to name names, but
Well,
what were some of the differences you
the
saw?
coaches that were successful were those coaches that they never allowed personal disagreements to affect what the team goal was.
Oh,
Coaches that I saw weren't successful. They got into like little, spats and stuff with people because they allow personal disagreements to affect the team mindset. The coaches that were able to forget about things, in the heat of battle, I'm sure you and your husband, y'all have had arguments.
no,
but
none. Where is
but,
he?
But y'all both know that you all care for each other,
Yes.
so you get past it. When there's been some games and it's serious, I've had arguments with my coach. Like I've had arguments with my boss. My boss just walked by.
Yeah.
We've argued, but to walk past stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then tomorrow it's over with. But there are some coaches who can't get past it.
Yeah.
And then also there's some coaches who never thought that the player. See, I'm on the football field every play. I know what you wrote up.
Yeah.
But it may not work. And
exactly.
if I'm out there, I probably know better than you what's going to work. But Joe Gibbs, Andy Reid listens. And if you are willing to listen to your players, you know what you tell them? You tell them this is a part of your stuff too.
Yeah.
And who's not going to work for something that they have ownership in?
Absolutely.
So you can manipulate the hell out of a player. Just tell them, it's all about what you say.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And they'll go run through a wall for you.
Yeah.
But I think those coaches like that, those people are always going to be successful, and they're natural leaders.
I completely agree. And I
Yeah.
think that that the successful nature of those teams with those kind of coaches shows and is a great example
Yeah.
for others.
And see, like Cowboys, I never played for them.
Yeah.
But I respected Tom Landry from back in the day.
Yeah.
The reason is you got offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, special teams coordinators, head coaches. Tom Landry with Dallas was the head coach, but he was the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and the special teams coordinator.
Wow.
If a man can handle all those hats and be successful with it, because he went to Super Bowls a lot.
Yeah.
You have to respect that. And he was the coolest dude on the world, sitting up there with his fedora on.
I know
I loved it, and I always respected him. And I look for people like that. Like I don't want an offensive coach to only know offense or a defensive coach to only know defense. Be able to help if you're defensive coach, tell an offensive coach something he could do better, and vice versa. And when you do that, then you say you care about the whole team, not just your side.
I love that. I think that's fantastic. Okay, so you're at Super Bowl week. We're here at Radio Row. You've been to the Super Bowl. I was asking my husband. He was a pro quarterback, but his team never got to the Super Bowl. So, I wanted to ask you this week, when those boys, I call them boys because they're so young, when
Yeah.
these young men are preparing and this week is here, what is going through their mind? They're about to play on the biggest stage that they may ever play on.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Some guys are focused on what they have to do.
Okay.
And they have the ability to block everything else out and focus on only their goal. There are other guys who are struggling to, am I going to just focus on football, or am I going to try to get involved with the festivities?
Yeah.
We were in Minnesota. It was cold, and I'm from Louisiana. I didn't want to
No.
go outside, so it made me a difference. But there, you have to realize, like, all this stuff that we see, the guys in the Super Bowl don't really see this.
Yeah.
So are you focused enough to care about the game and make sure you know all of your everything you need to do, all of your skill levels, and you've already watched enough film? Or are you trying to make sure that you want to make, I got to remember everything that was going on? No. Win the game. And then you got the rest of your life to do that.
Yeah.
Monty Coleman told me, he said, man, if you sacrifice today, you'll live this the rest of your life. We won this game January 26, 1992. And people still buy me drinks and dinner because of this ring.
Absolutely.
So, it's just a sacrifice.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Okay, so you were an NFL analyst right now.
Mm-hmm.
The media is a completely different circus thing from when you played
Yeah.
to today. What do you think the biggest difference is between media back then and media now?
Well, I think media back then was really a lot of journalism.
Yeah.
People were journalists, and that's what they cared about. They cared about telling a story.
Yeah.
A lot of media today is looking for narratives. They've already written
That's
a story
true.
in their heads where you are just a part of it. You know, if you're writing a story about me, you need to ask me a question. You can't just tell me about me if you've never been around me. And I think today everybody wants to one up the next person.
Yeah.
So as players, I tell players, pay attention to what you're saying and who you're saying it to.
Yeah.
You know, because somebody could take a word and take a sentence you made and just switch up the words a little bit and
Yeah.
look like you're saying something else.
Yeah.
So that's and I think, but like we had when I went to the Super Bowl, downtown Julie Brown was asking questions.
Oh my! I love her.
And
wow.
But she brought an aspect, and that's when it started.
Yeah.
It brought an aspect of people outside of the actual sports world now getting involved with it. Now everybody does this.
Yeah.
So we are you got to understand, you play football, but you are in the entertainment business.
Exactly.
And you're gonna have people that may not know a lot about the sport. People may think they know more than you, but everybody's involved with this sport, especially around this time of the year.
Absolutely. I love that. So do you have, looking at your resume, do you have a favorite?
In this game?
Yes.
Well, I'll say this. Your husband played quarterback, and he understands when you have a good quarterback, everything is possible.
That's right.
And
I do agree with that.
I'll run down these stats for everybody out there. Pat Mahomes has played in the NFL 8 years.
Yeah.
He's been a starting quarterback for 7. Of those 7 years, he's went to 7 AFC championship games.
That's a lot.
He's gone to 5 Super Bowls because it's his 5th Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he won that AFC game.
Yeah.
5 out of 7. That's way above 50%.
Yeah.
And he's been in 4 Super Bowls. Now he's in his 5th. He's won 75% of the Super Bowls he's been in.
Yeah.
Now he's in another one. The thing about Patrick Mahomes and his football team, a lot of guys have played in multiple Super Bowls.
Yeah.
They're not nervous. A lot of guys on the Eagles team, this team has been through some too.
Yeah.
But Pat, 17 straight games, they won a 1-possession game. If Pat gets the ball late, it could be a problem. And I just think that having Pat Mahomes give them the edge.
Yeah, I think I think the game's going to be fantastic, actually, with these 2 amazing quarterbacks and these teams.
Yeah.
But I can't wait. So I'll take that as
experience. I'm gonna say
kind of what you're saying.
I'm gonna say you're giving us where you're leaning because of your glasses. Your glasses look more red.
That's funny. Hey, you're not supposed to say that on the show. Yeah, no, you know. Well, your shirt.
Hey,
look,
Chiefs,
I've got the red glasses. You got kind of a green shirt, so we're both kind of.
But I told you what I was thinking.
Exactly.
This is kind of like, this is my dog stuff right here.
Exactly. All right. So I want to ask you, Brian, what do you think is one really good piece of advice you would give any young person today following their dreams?
I would tell them, if you have an idea in your head, you have to be the one that's going to try to carry it to the next level.
Yeah.
Not the next person. And don't depend on them, because if you want to get something, you have to be dedicated to it. And make sure you're dedicated to it, because one thing about us, we'll let down ourselves sometimes. So you find the person who you love the most. So my mom and dad were my heroes. So when I got involved with football and they would take me to practice, I felt like they were making a sacrifice. They would pay for all my stuff. I felt like they were using their money to support me, and I didn't want to let them down. Yeah. So if you got somebody in your life who you love the most, make sure you're trying to impress that person, because we will let ourselves down. We won't let mama down. We won't let daddy down. We may not let the girl that we ain't like down. Yeah. But you got to find somebody that you want to impress, and then you go through your life trying to do that, you can get wherever you want to go.
I love that. I love hard work. Do it yourself. Don't count on other people. I totally agree with you. All right. Brian, you are awesome. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
No problem at all.
I really appreciate it. And we're excited to see this game. And okay, so really quickly, from our sponsor, Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events, we know you have one, but we're giving you another one right here. So this is a power bank.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
exciting.
gonna have a charged phone right
You're
now.
gonna have a real charge phone. So it's got
Appreciate
that Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events, and it's got the Kelly Williams Show on the other side.
I
How
appreciate
cool
it.
is that?
Thank you. Appreciate
You're
that.
very welcome.
All right.
And we've got a tumbler for you
Hey,
that you can carry some drinks or
keep my
whatever you
drink
want in there.
cold.
That's right. That's right. All right, Brian, thank you so
No problem.
much
Thank
for
you very
coming
much.
today. We'll see you later.
Appreciate
Guys,
it.
stay tuned for more interviews right here live from Radio Row on the Kelly Williams Show. We'll see you soon. Bye.